We've got those two countries to learn about today. Like I said, we're starting with Italy. So let's see what is different about Christmas in Italy. One of the most important ways of celebrating Christmas in Italy is the nativity crib scene. Using a nativity scene to help tell the Christmas story was made very popular by St. Francis of Assisi in 1220. Assisi is in mid-Italy, so like the middle. The previous year, he had visited Bethlehem and saw where it was thought that Jesus was born. A lot of Italian families have a nativity scene in homes. So if you're wondering what that is, this picture is what shows you. So it's like the scene that some people will have, where they have like the little, not crib, but the little manger. They put like the little statues of Jesus and Mary and all that around. Sometimes it includes other people. Sometimes they have like animals for the background. It just depends. This one you can see has a lot of different figures that go. Some of them are much smaller than. The city of Naples in Italy is world famous for its nativity. These are known as il Presepe Napolitano, meaning Neapolitan nativity or crib scene. The first nativity scene in Naples is thought to go back to 1025 and was in the church of St. Maria del Presepe, St. Mary of the Nativity. This was even before St. Francis of Assisi had made nativity scenes very popular. So this is something that they do a lot, is they'll kind of put the figures around, they'll set up this scene, and like it says, a lot of people have them like in their houses and stuff too. Having nativity scenes in your own home became popular in the 16th century, and it is still popular today. Before that, only churches and monasteries had scenes. So now people have them in their houses a lot. Before, they used to just keep them in the church and that was it. Jadine, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I came here a little late because it said that the meeting ended already,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to wait a little longer. So you kind of read without me, and I don't know like what part are we on?
We're working on the Christmas Around the World, part 2. And right now we're working on Italy.
Okay.
Okay. Nativity scenes are traditionally put out on the 8th of December. But the figure of the baby Jesus isn't put into the crib or manger until the evening or night of December 24th. So they have a close-up picture of one. You can see that got a bunch of little figures like this guy who's baking bread. Pretty impressive though for such a little figure. They put a lot of details in there, like the person's clothes, their hair. They even made the bread have a different color on top. What's up, JD?
My grandpa, he puts those up in his house.
Yeah, some people have them at their houses here in America too. They're just letting us know that in Italy, it's a super, super popular thing to do. That they told us that they have them in people's houses. So they'll put one up in their houses, but they also have them in the churches and things like that. Sometimes the nativity scene is displayed in the shape of a pyramid, which can be meters tall. So some of these things aren't, the really small little nativity scenes. Some of these, like they said, end up being really, really tall. It's made of several tiers of shelves and is decorated with colored paper, gold-covered pine cones, and small candies. A small star is often hung inside the top of the pyramid or triangle. The shelves above the manger scene might also contain fruit, candy, and presents. Now, see, I know, kind of like you, Jadine. I know that when I was smaller, we had one of these too, the little nativity scene. But in Italy, they put other stuff along with it. Like in ours, it was just the figures and everything. But it says they put fruit, that they'll put candies, they'll cover pine cones with gold and put them on there.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be a really impressive thing to see. I'm sure they come out very pretty. One special thing about Neapolitan nativity scenes is that they always have extra everyday people and objects, such as houses, waterfalls, food, animals, and even figures of famous people and politicians. Naples is also home to the largest nativity scene in the world, which has over 600 objects on it. See, ours, when I was little, we had ours. See if I can zoom in on this picture. So on ours, whenever we saw this, there we go. There we go. It was just kind of this part. There were a few figures, there were some animals and things like that. But theirs, we can see that there's like a whole little village with lots of different people. They have people with different jobs. So we can see bakers, we can see people selling chickens and eggs. We can even see some of like where the feathers and stuff would fall from the chicken. There's bakers, people selling fruit. So they really make these very, very detailed scenes. So that's pretty cool. I don't see the fruit or the candies on this one, but this one has a lot of details to it.
There's sheep on a hill.
Yeah, there's even the sheep and there's a shepherd over there. And we saw the baker, how detailed they made the baker. That they have like a vest and everything, the hat, the bread even looks like it's been cooked. In Naples, there is still a street of nativity scene makers called the Via San Gregorio Armeno. In the streets, you can buy wonderful handmade nativity scene decorations and figures, and of course, full scenes. So that kind of explains why these things are so detailed. There's people making them by hand. So there's like whole streets where people will be there and their job is to make the little figures and the little decorations for the nativity scene. And since it's one person or a couple of people making them by hand, that definitely explains why they're so detailed. You can see some pictures of nativity scenes and figures from Naples on this page. They give us a link if we want to see some extra pictures. One old Italian custom is that children go out carol singing and playing songs on shepherd's pipes, wearing shepherd's sandals and hats. So I guess something else that they do besides putting up the scenes is that it looks like it says just children. I don't see anything about like adults, but that I guess they dress up like shepherds and they play shepherd's pipes and they play songs. So instead of like just singing, they also have people playing on a shepherd pipe. On Christmas Eve, it's common that no meat and sometimes no dairy is eaten. Often a light seafood meal is eaten, and then people go to the midnight mass. The types of fish and how they are served vary between different regions in Italy. Oh, so this is very different from what we saw like in America, where they said that in America a lot of people would eat like turkey or ham or things like that. They're letting us know that in Italy they usually eat fish for Christmas. People return from mass, it is cold, and you might have a slice of Italian Christmas cake called panettone. I agree with you, Alexa. I think this looks pretty good, which is like a dry, fruity sponge cake and a cup of hot chocolate. See, that does sound really good. Slice of cake and some hot chocolate. Here's a recipe for panettone. Oh, they even have a recipe here. You can find out more about Christmas in Italy and Italian Christmas recipes on this site. For many Italian American families, a big Christmas Eve meal of different fish dishes is now a very popular tradition. It's known as the Feast of the Seven Fishes, Festa dei Sette Pesci in Italian. The feast seems to have its root in southern Italy and was brought over to the United States by Italian immigrants in the 1800s. It now seems more popular in America than it is in Italy. Common types of fish eaten in the feast include braccola, which is salted cod, clams, calamari, which is squid, sardines, eel. So those are some examples, I guess, of the different fish that they eat. Make sure we're not just playing around with the chat. There are different theories as to why there are 7 fish dishes each. Some think that 7 represents the 7 days of creation in the Bible. Others say it represents the 7 holy sacraments in Catholic Church. But some people have more than 7 dishes. You might have 9 to represent the Christian Trinity times 3, 13 to represent Jesus and 12 disciples, or 11 for the 11 disciples without Jesus or Judas. The Christmas celebrations start 8 days before Christmas with special novenas, or a series of prayers and church services. Some families have a seppo, or Yule log, which is burnt through the Christmas season. In Italian, Happy/Merry Christmas is Buon Natale. It's in Sicilian, it's Bon Natale. And in Latin, spoken parts of the northern Italian region, South Tyrol, it's Buon or Bun Nadel. Happy/Merry Christmas and lots more. So this is how they say Merry Christmas in Italy. Buon Natale. Epiphany is also important in Italy. On Epiphany night, children believe that an old lady called Befana brings presents for them. Also, this sounds almost like Santa Claus, but with a different name. The story about Befana bringing presents is very similar to the story of Babushka. Children put stockings up by the fireplace for Befana to fill. Oh, so this is what they do with their stockings. So they put up the stockings, and then an old lady called Befana is the one that puts the stuff in them. In parts of northern Italy, the 3 kings might bring you presents rather than Befana. Christmas Day, Babbo Natale, Santa Claus, might bring them some small gifts, but the main day for present giving is on Epiphany. So that's very different from how we do it. So in Italy, instead of getting a lot of the gifts on Christmas Day, they get their gifts on Epiphany. And then they only get like small gifts on Christmas Day. So that's pretty interesting. There are a lot of different things here compared to like how we do things in the United States. They talked about the different foods that they ate. So they eat more fish than we do. Where like we saw that in America that a lot of people will eat like fish, or sorry, not fish, they'll eat like turkey or ham or things like that. Or of course like cookies and things like that. In Italy, they said they mostly eat like fish, or they mentioned this cake. Like Alexa said, I think looks really. They also said they drink hot chocolate. There's something else. They said that a lot of people like to make or put up these nativity scenes, their houses, or like they'll put them up in churches or places like that. They talked about how instead of just going out and singing, that they'll play songs on the shepherd's pipes. They talked about they also go to church for Christmas, just like people do here in the United States. They talked about a Yule log, so they put like a special log in their fireplace and burn that for Christmas. We learned how to say Merry Christmas in Italian. And we also learned that they don't get their gifts on the same day that we do. Instead of getting them on Christmas Day, they get them on Epiphany. That's when they get most of their gifts. And then they only get small gifts on Christmas. So that's pretty interesting. So make sure that on your Christmas in Italy page that you're writing down the information. What the flag looks like, or we can just put a picture. For the food, you can either write down what they eat or find a picture to put there too. A picture for what you might see. Kai, make sure we're focused. Write down some of the things that they do, and don't forget to write down, how do you say Merry Christmas? What's up, Noah?
Do a lot of countries and states celebrate Three Kings Day?
They might. I mean, we can see that here in Italy, they talked about it, right? They mentioned it. So, I mean, it's very popular that, or sorry, it's very possible that we might see it more often as we read about other countries. We might keep seeing it pop up. We'll have to see. But we're going to talk about definitely more countries. We have one more country we're going to read about today. And then we'll also have some more on the next couple of days. So we'll get to see if we see Three Kings Day show up in more countries.
Okay, just because in Germany and where I lived, where I was born, it was there.
Well, hey, we're going to do Germany next. So that'll be the next country that we talk about today. What's up, Alexa?
I have always wondered how people be queens and kings.
Well, that one has more to do with just like once you, whoever is the king or queen, usually to become king or queen, that means that it goes to their son or their daughter. So really, to become a king or a queen, pretty much you have to be related to a king or a queen.
Oh.
But if you are, after, sometimes they give up the throne, but usually it's after they die, it goes to the next person. So like if it was a queen, she would be the queen, and then when the queen dies, it goes to either her son or her daughter, usually whoever's older. So it just depends. So let's go ahead and fill out our page for Christmas in Italy. Give you all some time to do that, and then we'll do Christmas in Germany next.